I recently spent 2 weeks solo on the Discovery Princess ship out of Los Angeles for my first back-to-back cruise to Mexico. On this journey, I experienced all-inclusive resorts, spectacular entertainment, exceptional dining, and a luxury sunrise sail across the Sea of Cortez that might just be one of my favorite excursions ever. Whether you are thinking about taking a cruise with Princess or cruising on this ship specifically, make sure you stick around because I plan to share how much this solo cruise cost, the incredible deals I secured with extra perks thrown in by the cruise line, and whether or not I would ever cruise on the Discovery Princess again as a solo. As a Southern California resident, I'm only about a 30-minute drive from the Los Angeles World Cruise Center at San Pedro, so it was a quick Uber ride to the terminal where I arrived just after 9:30 a.m. for my first Princess cruise ever on one of their newest ships, the Discovery Princess. It wasn't lost on me that the terminal building I was routed into for embarkation was the terminal you would often see people waving goodbye to their loved ones from on the original Love Boat TV show. Princess, known then as the cruise brand the Love Boat featured, has a long history at this port, and the Discovery Princess has been deemed as the new Love Boat as it cruises the original TV show route now. Since they were not ready for us just yet, I waited about 20 minutes before those of us who had been given green lane clearance on the Princess app, meaning we completed all documentation online in advance appropriately, were told it was our time. Embarkation processing is a breeze with Princess because of their wearable Medallion class experience that all Princess cruisers take part in. Simply scan, show your physical documentation to back it up, and you're moved through security. The Medallion acts as your identity on board and replaces things like a room key card. It's also something that allows the ship to know where you are at any given time so that if you order something via the app, they can deliver it straight to you. But more on that later. In less than 30 minutes, we were called to board, and the Discovery Princess, well, she is one sexy lady, sparkling and grand. The atrium upon entry feels spectacular in nature and reminds you that this is a premium cruise brand for a reason. Live music filled the air and echoed throughout the floors that look down onto the piazza with giant welcome aboard banners celebrating our arrival as new passengers. First things first, though, I headed straight to my muster drill location to get signed off for ship safety protocols. Princess decided to hold over the much more convenient pandemic-era way of handling muster by finding your assigned area of the ship, swiping your medallion, and then watching an informative safety video on your own that tracks that you have watched it and then reports it back to the ship. You can watch on your mobile device or in your stateroom before the ship sets sail. With muster out of the way, it's time for solo tip number 1. Don't run to the buffet on embarkation day. My cruising experience on any line has been that the crew tend to encourage you to head to the buffet on embarkation day while waiting for your stateroom to be ready. They did the same thing on Discovery Princess, but it's worth noting that you have other options, one in particular being the Skagway dining room steps away on Deck 6, where they serve an included and wonderful sit-down lunch. And it's a great way to feel that Princess hospitality on day 1 without having to feel crowded by thousands of other passengers. It was also here where I got my reservations in order for meal times for the rest of the week, something you can also do in advance on the app, or you can do standby at any sit-down dining venue as well, if you would rather do a your time dining experience. Future cruise passengers take note, though, this is about to change fleet-wide, as Princess has just announced that after the success of an altered approach to dining on their brand new Sun Princess ship, they will designate separate dining rooms aboard every ship in the fleet to the 3 table service options, one dedicated to traditional dining, offering an early and a late seating every evening, one offering reservable dining times, and a third with open seating to support walk-ins anytime. This becomes effective for all Princess voyages departing September 14th, 2024 and beyond. The Discovery Princess has 3 included main dining rooms, the Skagway at Deck 6 Mid that I just mentioned is being open for lunch on embarkation day, the Ketchikan dining room aft on Deck 6, and the Juneau dining room down on Deck 5, all stunningly beautiful. But since we are talking about embarkation day eats, let me show you what else is available outside of the buffet. One floor up on Deck 7, you can stop off for some of the best pizza at sea at Gigi's Pizzeria by Alfredo. This sit-down pizza spot is included for you if you have the Princess Plus or Premier package added onto your cruise fare. If you bought the standard Princess Cruise package, this dining spot, considered casual dining as they call it, well, that will cost you $14.99 per person per a prefixed meal. More on Princess Plus and Premier here in a little bit. If you have a standard package and don't want to pay an upcharge for a sit-down best pizza at sea experience, then here's a hack for you. Hop on an elevator, head on up to Lido Deck 16, where you can stop off at the included for everyone grab-and-go pizza spot named Slice. They typically offer a handful of topping types each day with a rotating specialty pizza daily. Just on the other side of the bar that separates Slice Pizza from it is the Salty Dog Cafe, another included spot poolside where you can get your grub on with things like tacos, burgers, hot dogs, and piles of hot fries. Not feeling the greasy spoon nature of the included grill or pizza? That's okay, I understand. There's also another included spot that isn't just open on embarkation day. It's open 24 hours a day on Discovery Princess, and that is the exceptional International Cafe, back down on Deck 5, located just off the piazza. It's the place for an ever-changing array of small bite meals, treats, gourmet beverages. You know, you can grab a croissant here to start your day, you can snack on pies and quiche, or choose from a wide variety of salads and sandwiches at lunchtime. You can also indulge a little bit later in decadent desserts in the evening. Coffee and tea fans will love the Newgrounds crafted coffee menu featuring a variety of specialty espresso-based drinks made from a custom blend of coffee beans, as well as iced tea fusions here at the connected 24-hour coffee bar. As mentioned earlier, every Princess passenger is provided a medallion that takes the place of a traditional room key card. Medallion class cruising is all about making vacations as easy as can be. It begins with your medallion, a quarter-sized wearable device that enables everything from touch-free boarding to locating your loved ones anywhere on the ship, as well as enhanced service like having whatever you need delivered. It's a truly streamlined and elevated experience. You will receive a complimentary medallion device and lanyard, and for any guests with a Plus or Premier package, you may order these items delivered to your home for no extra shipping fees. If you do not have the package, you pay a $10 flat fee to have these delivered to your home, or you could just choose to pick them up at the departure port for no extra fees. While the medallion is complimentary for all passengers, how you use it is up to you, and this is where the 3 different package options come in for how you would like to experience your cruise. Princess Standard, Princess Plus, and Princess Premier are the names of these. Standard includes your cabin, complimentary meals and drinks like coffee, water, tea, and some juices, as well as entertainment and most of the onboard activities. Since this is the bare bones package, all alcoholic drinks, sodas, specialty coffees, and meals outside of complimentary venues are pay-as-you-go. And when it comes to Ocean Now delivery, attached to the medallion and what you can do via your phone, the standard package passengers have to pay a one-time $14.99 activation fee and then a $5 per delivery fee to enjoy it. If you are a Plus or Premier package passenger, those activations and delivery fees, well, those are waived. You don't have to worry about them. I purchased the Plus package, which is about $65 per day more than a standard, but some highlights of what it includes are 2 casual dining meals of those restaurants not already included, all my drinks, both alcoholic and non-alcoholic, up to $15 each, unlimited Wi-Fi with no restrictions, crew gratuity, and some specialty desserts. And 2 fitness classes are thrown in. The Premier package just kicks all of these offerings up a notch, as you can see from the breakdown I chose Plus because it really covered all of the things that I wanted out of my cruise and allowed for a much more just all-inclusive feeling. An overhead announcement from cruise director Cole let us know that our rooms were now ready, and I headed straight to the first of 2 rooms I would have on this back-to-back cruise, and that was my deluxe balcony obstructed stateroom on Emerald Deck 8, stateroom number E512. Upon entering the room, you'll see an open closet area complete with a top shelf space and multiple hangers beneath. The carpet here looks brand new. Between the restroom and the closet sits a near floor to ceiling cabinet with a safe and 5 spacious slotted shelves for any additional storage you might need. This open area closet also acts as a divider between the bedroom and the restroom. As we enter the restroom, the counter holds pump hand soap and lotion with 3 glass shelves, up the mirror vanity with 2 glasses for use, and up above the second shelf, an outlet for a shaver. The tiled sink area is beautiful, and the sink itself is quite large, both deep and wide, with great water pressure, whether we were in port or at sea. To the opposite side of the toilet sits the standing shower with a thank you ship gods detachable handle and height adjustable shower head device next to a retractable clothesline. The shower also comes with a duo of pump shampoo and body wash dispensers. What felt out of character for a ship of this class was having only a pull curtain for the shower instead of an actual door, but no big deal. We leave the restroom and are greeted in the hall by a floor-to-ceiling mirror. As you walk beyond the dividing closet, you will find a large bed converted from 2 twin beds for me and 2 nightstands with lamps on either side. 2 drawers sit beneath an open space cubby as part of those nightstands. Lighting controls for the room sit alongside the pillows next to the nightstands, and the lamps both have USB charging ports for your devices to be right alongside your bed within grabbing distance. When it comes to the bed, Princess invested in ultra premium features, including a plush 2-inch thick pillow top, a 9-inch single-sided medium firm mattress for enhanced support, individually wrapped coils for less partner disturbance, a European-inspired duvet, and 100% luxurious woven cotton linens. It is a heavenly thing to sleep on, I can tell you. A flat panel TV with satellite and a huge library of included on-demand programming sits on the wall directly in front of the bed, and alongside that a desk and chair combo with a small trash can and large mirror above the desk. Multiple power outlets adorn this desk just behind the phone area for your convenience, and next to the desk is a sort of minibar area complete with glassware just above a drawer that houses an included hairdryer, and down below that, a personal mini fridge. Across the room from the desk and alongside the bed nearest the balcony door sits what many would call a love seat couch that also transforms into a sofa bed if you need a spot for an extra stateroom guest. This brings me to solo tip number 2, get your breakfast in bed. Regardless of package, complimentary breakfast room service is offered to all Princess passengers. Just fill out the tag to hang on your door the night before and be woken up with a friendly knock at the door and some piping hot fresh coffee and pastries to enjoy the sunrise over the ocean from your balcony with. It's a perfect way to enjoy some you time to start the day. And speaking of the balcony, I did say this was a deluxe balcony obstructed stateroom. Now, you'll notice for my room, I got lucky. I had the roof of a lifeboat at what was essentially waist level. If I was standing on the balcony, it was right about waist level, so it wasn't terribly intrusive. But you will also notice to either side of my stateroom balcony, my neighbors were not so lucky, as they had the more eye-level mechanical arms and platforms that hold these lifeboats. On the next leg of my cruise, I do look forward to sharing with you what it's like staying inside a mini suite for the first time on Princess. After settling into this stateroom, however, it was announced that the Sailaway party would be getting underway soon, so I headed up to the Lido deck to join the festivities. It was a sunny and beautiful Southern California day, and the entertainment team, well, they were getting everyone involved in the fun, as music and dancing filled the open decks and passengers were ready for a 7-day vacation to the Mexican Riviera. Princess feels like a more adult brand similar to that of Celebrity Cruise Line, and that might be why the demographic on board this cruise skewed older, with only a very small handful of kids that, outside of the pool area, I never really noticed elsewhere on board. As we pushed out into the Pacific Ocean, it was finally time to relax and see what the Discovery Princess had in store. Speaking of relaxation, I wanted to start my cruise right and notice on the Princess website that on embarkation day, most massage treatments are cheaper than the rest of the cruise. So I headed down to Deck 5's Lotus Spa for my pre booked 50-minute Swedish massage for just $119. Now, I might sound crazy in terms of cost, but that's really cheap on board a cruise ship. It was such a great way to ease into the start of my back-to-back journey. After the massage, I took a shower and hung out in my room for a bit before I headed to Deck 7 for dinner, where it would be my first specialty dining meal of the cruise at the much celebrated Crown Grill Steakhouse. My meal here consisted of spiny grilled lobster cake with tarragon foam and grilled asparagus, all as a starter, all as an appetizer, followed by black and blue onion soup with a touch of Jack Daniels that just couldn't be missed, and an entree of a tender filet mignon with sides of some of the finest cream spinach I've ever tasted and some red mashed potatoes. This was all topped off by a dessert of apple and rhubarb cobbler covered in blueberry drizzle and a heaping scoop of vanilla ice cream. If you choose to dine at a specialty restaurant like the Crown Grill instead of an included main dining room for dinner, you can prepare to pay a flat cover charge of $39 per person. To me, that's a bargain if you were to compare it to the same type of meal on land, and is well worth the cost. Another specialty restaurant with a $39 cover charge that I enjoyed later in the cruise was Sabatini's, the Italian trattoria comfort sit-down option on Deck 5, which features outstanding, freshly made in-house pasta, main courses that really hit the spot like the lemon and rosemary sautéed chicken breast, followed up by a chef's specialty of vanilla panna cotta, tiramisu, and rocher, a blend of chocolate pralines and hazelnut ice cream sealed in milk chocolate. And finally, one last specialty dining location is relatively new to the dining experience on Discovery Princess, the Catch by Rudy up on Deck 7. Named after Princess Cruises' head of culinary arts, this pleasure of a meal is directly tied to the mind and talents of Chef Rudy Sodeman, who has also served as the master chef of Holland America line. As soon as I sat down, I was greeted by a glass of sparkling wine, followed by a loaf of hot French bread and the signature spread, which immediately had me smiling. This led to a presentation of lump crab cake with caramelized mustard hollandaise, asparagus salad, and microgreens. I went with the main course of Sea and Shore, better known as Surf and Turf, filet mignon, lobster tail, red wine sauce, and steamed vegetables. You could select sides with your main, and I decided to try the ratatouille and roasted fingerling potatoes, all of which perfectly complemented one another, and I could not have been more pleased with the quality and presentation. Of course, dessert was also a presentation, as I was met with the melt-in-your-mouth sweetness of the chantilly lace, which are essentially freshly crafted cream puffs packed with cream chantilly and drizzled all over by hot chocolate sauce. The Catch by Rudy, at least to me, outshined Princess's original gold standard of the Crown Grill, and I would say if you do just one specialty dining location on Discovery Princess, make it this one. You will not be sorry. As embarkation day came to a close, I decided to swing by the Take 5 Lounge on Deck 6, which brings me to solo tip number 3, the best hidden lounge. I would end up spending a lot of time at the Take 5 Lounge, which feels really almost hidden away alongside the Princess Casino with its closed doors to the atrium. In here, I took in the smooth sounds of jazz while enjoying a nightcap before bed. This has become one of my favorite solo spots to come hang out in. It's cozy enough for time to yourself and just populated enough to meet new people without feeling like a real party scene or anything too overwhelming. It's a hidden gem where the jazz players interact a lot with the small crowd because, they can, given the size of the space. Other lounges and venues on board allow for a variety of experiences to be had, from the always popular Crooner's Bar on the same deck with live music to the much more lively and bright Princess Live Lounge up on Deck 7, where you can take part in game shows, karaoke, enrichment lectures, and a whole lot more of the included activities to get you having some fun. This was always a really active spot. Down the hall from that sits the Crown Grill Bar and Lounge, also with live music most nights. And at the back of the ship on this deck, the Vista Lounge performance venue, which often had comedians, string musicians, and movies playing for everyone's entertainment enjoyment. And if you're looking for grander entertainment, then look no further than the front of the ship on this deck, as it features the upper level of the Princess Theater, where original stage productions can be seen throughout the cruise, like Spotlight Bar and Magic to Do. You can also find headliner solo act singers in this very theater, as well as more popular presentations during the day, like culinary demonstrations and Behind the Seas, where you get to hear from the ship's officers of what it's like to bring one of the biggest ships in the Princess fleet to life. Something really great about Princess is that everything is first come, first serve, so you don't need to book entertainment like many other lines ask you to do now. Just remember to show up about 30 minutes ahead to get a seat, and you'll almost always be fine. The next 2 days were sea days on our way to Puerto Vallarta. It was on these days where I got to know the World Fresh Marketplace Buffet on Lido Deck 16. The buffet on Discovery Princess is very well designed, especially when compared to older Princess ships. Extra wide walkways, multiple access points, segmented sections to help split up the crowds and make it feel even more comfortable, and stretching out even more variety while still offering up regular comfort food on the daily. Something else done on the daily in this buffet is a rotating dinner theme of culinary delights. And to me, a highlight of the buffet was the abundance of salad bar selections, and I really went to town on building my own mega salads throughout the cruise. Seating throughout the World Fresh Marketplace Buffet is staggered and segmented as well, stretching on both sides of the repeating sections closest to the windows. It does get the busiest in this buffet during lunch hours and is much quieter in the early mornings and at night for dinner. And this brings me to solo tip number 4, the hidden coffee bar. If the included brewed coffee isn't hitting the way you thought it would, then skip the long lines at the International Cafe and come upstairs to the pastry shop, located in the middle of the Marketplace Buffet and to a certain degree hidden because most passengers failed to realize it was here throughout my voyage. Not only can you grab a specialty coffee at this espresso bar, it is also home to your croissants, muffins, and pastries in the morning, and then it transitions to being the epicenter of cookies and cakes throughout the day. Once again, another hidden gem that will absolutely save you some time. Something else really nice that I found here on the Discovery Princess is that the buffet always has a section open throughout the day and doesn't really ever close. While lunch might technically end at 3:30, they keep a variety of food presented as afternoon snacks until dinner switches over at 5:30 p.m. Dinner runs nice and late until 10:30 p.m., and the buffet opens each morning at 5:30 a.m., helping really to spread out crowds across a variety of dining locations. And for those of you who love your all-you-can-eat included ice cream, steps away from the buffet, facing the Lido pool, is Swirl's Ice Cream Bar, open every day from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Since we are on the Lido deck, I want to show you 2 large pools named the Sky Pools with 3 hot tubs sprinkled around them. Yes, this is sort of the main central location of the upper decks of the ship. At the back of the Lido deck sat the Wake View Pool, which was a small infinity pool with dramatic views off the aft of the ship. This was always the forgotten pool area with a lot less activity, day or night. Head 1 more deck up to Sundeck 17 and enjoy 4, that's right, 4 more hot tubs that look out over the sky pools and have a great view of the big screen for included movies under the stars every night. as well as the live bandstand for performances throughout the day. At the front of the ship on the sun deck is the well-secluded, adults-only and included retreat pool area that was also rarely utilized, but boy was it a peaceful area to take in some sun along with the retreat bar. By the way, just above this pool on Skydeck 18, you've got more adults-only lounging plus 2 additional hot tubs to enjoy. If there is one thing Discovery Princess got right, it was going all in on lots of hot tubs. On the other end of the sky deck sits the jogging track for your running needs, and that of course wraps around the center court basketball area to shoot some hoops in. There are also some fun murals up here to take pictures with and send to all of your friends and family who aren't on a cruise. One down on Skydeck 17, you can find the fitness center with some excellent views of the ocean as you seek to lose some of your cruise belly. Something I booked for this half of the cruise stretch was an all-access pass to the Lotus Spa's exclusive thermal suite area, the Enclave, where you can relax on heated stone beds, detoxify in saunas and steam rooms, and immerse yourself in the warm waters of the hydrotherapy pool. An amazing place to relax and unwind day or night, and 7-day access only cost an extra $149. To me, it was worth every penny. And that brings me to solo tip number 5, the hidden promenade. It's always nice to have a quiet place to go on a busy cruise ship to call your own. And while the Discovery Princess doesn't have a traditional promenade deck, they do have an unassuming outdoor space that very few people seem to be aware of on Deck 7 aft, which is accessible just before you reach the Vista Lounge, complete with chairs and a wake view area that is really inspiring. A perfect spot to curl up with a good book and listen to the waves roll by. And if you want to fill your sea days with some shopping, well, there is plenty of that on the Discovery Princess as well. The Shops of Princess can be found on Decks 5, 6, and 7 with everything from upscale clothing and jewelry stores, as well as more traditional sundries available for purchase and plenty of Princess branded gear to choose from. While I like to take a solo cruise for the me time aspect of things, something I know many solos look forward to is meeting new people. And this brings me to solo tip number 6, onboard solo gatherings. Each evening, the Discovery Princess schedules dedicated time at a lounge for singles and solos to meet. I saw about 24 or so people present during these regular meetups, and they allow for you to make some new friends at sea. You can join others for meal times and even explore ports together. After a few days on the ocean, we were ready to disembark in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, our first of 3 port stops on this trip. I disembarked to find my Princess Excursion guide, who had me join a group of about 40 as we boarded a bus that drove us 30 minutes to what was titled Exclusive Beach Resort Getaway. The resort was Maraval Emotions, a 5-star all-inclusive beachfront property where we were met by friendly staff handing us drinks as we walked in and given a brief orientation of where our included dining and bars were, as well as where we could pull up a lounger and relax. The resort was pristine and sprawling with multiple pools and lush gardens, plenty of umbrellas, and all kinds of complimentary activities. I chose to have my included lunch inside the massive Casa Bella buffet. It had a lot of signature Mexican dishes as well as some lovely desserts. The service was so upbeat, not just in the dining venue, but across this resort property. Something to be aware of, and they do tell you when you arrive that if you choose to grab a lounger on the sand, you will be approached by outside vendors. So if that bothers you, it's advised to stay on their resort space. This exclusive beach resort getaway lasted a total of 5 hours, and with the included drinks, activities, and a meal, was quite an exceptional value at $89.95. After heading back to the ship, I ordered up some tasty room service after I took a shower and settled in for a few episodes of The Love Boat, which they have on demand to watch anytime, which I think is a really clever touch. It's like 9 seasons worth of The Love Boat if you're interested. We sailed out of Puerto Vallarta that evening and into the Pacific, where I caught a truly stunning sunset over the ocean. This really is what it's all about. The next morning, we were cruising into Mazatlan, where I didn't have an excursion planned on this cruise, but I did for the next one. Instead, today, it was all about relaxing and getting some reading done that I'd been wanting to do all along. The pier Princess docks at in Mazatlan is an industrial port, and you take a complimentary shuttle over to the port entry complex, a strip mall of shops, pharmacies, crafts, and food locations, which took me about an hour to browse through. And this brings me to solo tip number 7: book princess excursions. I can understand that exploring a foreign port solo might give some folks anxiety or concern over safety, which is why I always suggest booking an excursion directly through Princess, either before or during the cruise, so that not only does Princess know where you are going and who you are with, they keep track in case you fail to make it back to the ship on time. Excursions booked through Princess will wait for your return, and that's something that they guarantee. The ship will not depart without you. Plus, booking through Princess means you are only with other passengers on excursions Princess and their umbrella corporation Carnival have vetted and trust, saving you from having to worry about the unknowns of booking excursions through any third party. Our last port stop of the cruise had us arriving early in Cabo San Lucas. Cabo is a tender port, meaning you need to take smaller individual boats from the ship to the port. Given that my Princess excursion was one of the first of the morning, we were given an expedited tender to the dock and were immediately met by our tour guide, Carlos, who walked us to a secluded dock just feet away, and it was completely secured. You had to have access to the excursion in order to be allowed onto this dock, and we were given a safety instruction by the crew prior to our boarding of the half-day luxury 50-foot sailboat experience, something that is limited to only 16 people, so it is a very intimate excursion. Upon boarding, they handed us a celebratory mimosa that we used to toast our morning luxury sail out to the iconic Cabo San Lucas Arch and over to Lovers Beach. As the sun began blazing and blue skies opened up, this was such a beautiful and memorable excursion, zipping past the sea lion colony and taking in the epic rock formations. Along the sailing off the coast of Cabo, we spotted an occasional whale breach the surface of the water as it was that time of the year. The crew handed us all our own individual chips and guac snacks, and the drinks kept flowing. Whatever you wanted, the very attentive crew would fetch you as we sailed through the tranquil waters and took in the sights and sounds of the Mexican Riviera. Eventually, our sailboat was anchored in a calm spot in the Sea of Cortez, where many of us, including me, jumped in to enjoy some included snorkeling and witness the marine life up close and personal, as well as some included paddle boarding, which seemed to be a huge hit. After playtime in the water and taking in some tropical rays on the sailboat, lunch was served, and each of us received gourmet eats that frankly surprised me when it came to their quality and just how fresh they were. As mentioned, this luxury sailboat experience is only open to a max of 16 people per vessel, and so it felt like a sail through the ocean on our own private yacht. All of the other Princess passengers on board with me seemed to recognize just how special this excursion was and really soaked it in. We all became very close friends during this 4.5-hour journey, and if you are looking for something to do in Cabo the next time you're in the neighborhood, be sure to book the Cabo Adventures half-day luxury sailboat experience. You will cherish these memories. Something to keep in mind is that a photographer on board captures all of the moments and presents you with options to buy at the end if you wish. The total cost of the half-day luxury sailboat experience was $139 per person, but given the attention to service and the personalized experience, I would say the value far exceeds the cost. As we made it back to the ship, just one more sea day separated us from our return to San Pedro, but for the first time ever, the return to real-life cruise blues were not setting in, because as I said, this would be my first back-to-back cruise, where I would be staying on for another week of fun at sea, where I would also be exploring parts of the ship I hadn't on this voyage and moving staterooms to a mini suite. But that's in part 2. As for this 7-day cruise to the Mexican Riviera, I can share that I jumped on it because it was a great deal. Typically, when cruising solo, you still pay the double occupancy difference on most cruise lines because that is just how they sell their voyages. But about 4 months prior to this cruise, I saw under cruise deals on the Princess website that this cruise, with the Princess Plus package attached, cost a total of $1,046 and came with an additional $200 in onboard credit, which all went to paying for those amazing shore excursions I just shared with you. It was, at least to me, a fantastic deal. Now, that was originally a standard interior stateroom that I had bought, but I did bid for an upgrade to the Deluxe Balcony Obstructed Stateroom at $140 more and got it. From the ship's elegance and class to the crew's warm hospitality, the outstanding food offerings, impressive entertainment, and all the included amenities, I was made a fan of Princess Cruises because of this very trip, and I would absolutely do this cruise as a solo again. Have you cruised on Discovery Princess before? Are you looking to take a Princess cruise in general? I'll be happy to answer your questions down in the comments. Because I enjoyed this cruise so much, I couldn't wait to book Princess again and did so on a much older Ruby Princess ship to the Western Caribbean. To see how that went for me, take a look at the video on your right, and we'll see you next time on The Solo Cruiser.